You talk about all dichotomies like good, evil, right, wrong, etc., being nothing but forms of ignorance. It is popularly believed that the festival of Vijayadashmi or Dassehra represents the victory of good over evil, etc. So, how are these two perspectives to be reconciled?
The popular understanding is exactly that which is possible for the populace to understand and appreciate. And most people, practically any person who defines themselves as a human being, lives in a world of dichotomy. That's a fundamental fact. The fundamental dichotomy is there is a me and there is a not me, which is my world. And this boundary can be shifted, closer or further, etc. But this fundamental dichotomy is the world that practically all human beings live in. So there is no wonder that everything that is passed across as a message to the human populace has to make use of dichotomy of a particular kind for it to stick in the head. So it is very easy for everybody to recognize that good is good and evil is evil, and the victory of good over evil is something worth celebrating. So yes, that is the first message that is provided. And then one starts looking at what is dharma, what is adharma, what is right and what is wrong. And then one recognizes that what appears right to me in this moment may appear wrong to me in another moment. What appears right to me in this moment may appear wrong to somebody else in this moment, etc. And then one starts investigating further and so on. And the most interesting thing is, in your world of dichotomies, you still see even something as fundamental as self-realization as ignorance being taken away and realization coming in its place. So even the necessity of recognizing that dichotomies do not exist is also seen by you as a dichotomy. And that is the reason why self-realization is such a huge surprise when it does manifest. But having said that, you could see Dassehra or Vijayadashmi as the victory of quote unquote light over darkness. That's also another popular way in which it is stated. And if it is light over darkness, it is not very difficult to recognize that actually what is meant is understanding, self-realization over ignorance, over Maya. And that essentially is what Vijayadashmi is about. The Devi who wins against the Asura represents realization, and the Asura represents the ignorance. Rama represents realization and Ravana represents materialism, ignorance, which makes you cling to materialism. And you will notice all the different, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, plus, some 3-4 more different ways of, Ahankar, etc., which have talked about as representations of the heads of Ravana. These are all things that come out of ignorance. And when Rama kills Ravana, it means that this ignorance has been defeated and realization has manifested. So the difference between Rama and Ravana is not that one stood for the right and the other stood for the wrong. It is that one stood for dichotomy and the other stood for realization. And yes, it can be a little difficult to, wrap your head around this, but rest assured, all of this is only there so that the fundamental message would not be lost even amongst the people who cannot yet appreciate it completely.